Good evening. Coming up soon in Prime7 News.
$6 million deficit. Lismore City Council's finances set to be overhauled.
Covering up a unique initiative to combat the recent spike in graffiti across Port Macquarie.
A support group is teaching coping strategies to suicide survivors on the coast.
As a police dog retires from the force, a puppy joins the beat.
And 53 hectares of bushland enhanced for local squirrel gliders.
All that and more on Prime7 News. We'll see you in a few minutes.
This is Prime7 Local News with Gwynn and Karl Lijnders and Ellie Wicks with your local weather forecast.
Tonight, Lismore City Council searches for a solution to a $6.1 million budget black hole.
Locals fear the threat of rising floodwaters and toxic flows is growing at Wagulga Lake.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, what now for Australia's highest ranking Catholic after his conviction for child sex crimes was revealed? And we'll have reaction from the Church at home and abroad and the Vatican.
Now, Prime7 Local News.
Good evening. An independent review of Lismore City Council's quarterly budget has unveiled a $6.1 million deficit.
Council will now come up with a transformation plan that is expected to include a rate increase. The budget blowout is set to be a hot topic at tonight's council meeting, with the community up in arms over the issue.
Lismore City Council's bombshell announcement.
When I left at Christmas, we had a $250,000 surplus being reported in our quarterly budget. By the time the due diligence was finished, that was a $6.1 million deficit.
A 2-month due diligence study by independent consultants uncovering a series of previously unreported costs. Mitchell Sariovsky, Prime7 News.
A large-scale protest is calling for urgent action over deteriorating conditions at Wagulga Lake. Local residents say the threat of rising floodwaters and toxic flows is growing with the rapidly expanding population.
Once a popular seaside destination, conditions at Wagulga Lake are in rapid decline.
All rotting vegetation, there's branches, leaves, often dead animals in there.
Liz Penny, Prime7 News.
The Port Macquarie Hastings Council faces a massive clean-up bill after a recent spate of graffiti around the city, but a local street artist says there's another way to combat the growing rate of vandalism.
Graffiti's been a problem in Port Macquarie for a long time, but there's been a spike in rude and lewd artwork around town over the past few weeks.
Mid-Coast Council is encouraging local businesses and community groups to roll up their sleeves for Clean Up Australia Day this weekend. The day will be marked with clean-ups at beaches, dunes and bushland across the mid-north coast. 36 local businesses have already registered to participate, but it's not too late to join.
Register their own site if there isn't one already in their area. And the other option is that residents can actually go onto the website, look and see if there's something in their area and join one of those groups.
Again, National Clean Up Australia Day is this weekend, but events are being held throughout the month, including fundraisers in some local schools this Friday.
Ellie is away sick today, so we go to Karl with your latest weather forecast. And Karl, a few showers along the coast today.
Certainly was a stagnant weather pattern, Liz. We've got showers up and down some parts of the coast this afternoon and this evening once again as the night draws closer. Temperatures in the south today around 25 degrees at Foster, 27 at Taree. It's very similar to what we've had over the past 5 days. Again, the best of the rain fell through the hinterland, 20 millimetres overnight at Dorrigo, 25 at Coffs and 3 millimetres just northwest of Coffs this afternoon. We've had fairly clear skies inland, but as you can see, that low cloud shield is just hugging the coastal fringe. That will continue. We're seeing swells ease finally along the coast. The squeeze play is out of here. Winds going to the northeast. We are looking at low to moderate fire dangers, Liz. That's good news, so we can mop up some of those fire danger areas we've had over the past weeks. That's good news.
Thanks so much, Karl. Still to come in Prime7 News, a popular art exhibition from Port Macquarie heads to our nation's capital.
And squirrel gliders are loving their new homes in the treetops of Foster. Stay with us.
And later on this news hour, the Catholic Church rocked by revelations. Cardinal George Pell was found guilty of child sex crimes. We'll explain why we've only been allowed now to tell you about last year's sensational verdict. Also, the sad end to the desperate search for 2 missing boys and dicing with disaster. See what happens next.
Stay in touch 24/7 at prime7.com.au.
There is a real estate boom in the treetops of Foster. Mid Coast Council is installing nests for the growing squirrel glider population.
Foster residents aren't the only ones facing a housing shortage. Local squirrel gliders are too.
You've seen them popping up around Port Macquarie. Now the Hilo koalas have headed to our nation's capital. A new addition was also unveiled as part of their mission to raise awareness about conservation.
They're colourful creatures that are larger than life. Now, 20 of the Hilo koala sculptures have had the chance to travel more than 600 kilometres to Canberra as part of the city's Enlighten Festival.
Still to come in the local news, school has never been so messy for these Mid-North Coast students.
And the countdown is on for this weekend's COF's BCU Triathlon. Don't go anywhere. The countdown is on for this weekend's COF's BCU Triathlon, with entries closing tomorrow night. Professional athletes are headlining the beachfront race across an Olympic distance course.
Entries are expected to peak at 1,000 before tomorrow night's cut-off for the 2019 BCU COF's Tri.
For some Mid-North Coast students, getting active is a messy task. Manning Aventus School has kicked off Bush School and the mud classes are already a hit.
Playing in the mud is part of everyone's childhood. But for Manning Adventist students, it's now part of the curriculum.
Looks like a lot of fun still to come in Prime7 News. Some partly cloudy days ahead. We'll be back soon with your local weather forecast.
And in the national news just minutes away, Cardinal George Pell maintains his innocence after conviction for child sex crimes was revealed. And what was behind this man's thinking? We'll tell you soon.
Tonight's weather brought to you by BCU, your local home loan specialists.
Hello again. Let's take a look at the weather as we head into the second half of the working week. Onshore winds are going to dominate once again as we track towards the weekend. High pressure anchored to the south. You can see that the remains of Omar is that low pressure system sitting well off the northeast coast of New South Wales. Overall, the pattern is not going to change much over the coming week. So high pressure will take up residence in the South Tasman Sea. Onshore southeasters will persist right through to the weekend. That high will drift out but be reinforced again next week. We're looking at rainfall totals accumulating maybe in excess of 25 millimetres between maybe around Port Macquarie up to around Fraser Island at the moment, but very light falls each day. Hot over the inland tomorrow, 37 degrees in Tibooburra. If you're heading towards Melbourne, 30 degrees with afternoon sea breezes. Fine weather inland tomorrow. We'll have partly cloudy skies along the hinterland with 1 or 2 showers grading to scattered across the coast north of Coffs Harbour. 26 degrees for Coffs, looking at 28 for Lismore, and temperatures will be moderated by those onshore winds. It will feel a bit humid at times in easterlies, up to 15 knots. The swells are dropping away now to 2 metres in the north, 1.5 in the south. We'll track a fine day across the inland once again and across the mid-north coast for your Thursday. A few showers grading more scattered again in nature north of Coffs Harbour for your Thursday. So partly cloudy conditions for Byron Bay, 26 degrees with a few showers from time to time. Showers might be a bit more widespread on Friday, with the winds going a bit more unstable east to northeasterly. We'll have some isolated showers again in the afternoon across the inland, but otherwise partly cloudy conditions. Fine weather won't be on the forecast until this time next week, Liz, when we'll have northeasters return, but showers are welcome after what has been a pretty dry spell.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Karl. And recapping our top stories tonight, a 2-month investigation has revealed a $6.1 million black hole in Lismore City Council's budget. The council's new general manager says the blowout could have been avoided with better project and risk management. Council will now come up with a transformation plan that could include a rate increase.
The Port Macquarie Hastings Council faces a massive clean-up bill after a recent spate of graffiti around the city. But a local street artist says there's another way to combat the growing rate of vandalism through the introduction of legalised walls.
And that's all we have time for tonight. You can join the debate on tonight's stories on Facebook.
And watch the top stories on our website. Daniel Gibson is standing by with your 6:30 news. Stay with us.